A revision question for you on factors which affect promotional decisions. The 2-mark question. Jasmina is aware there are factors that would influence which promotional method she uses. One of these factors is cost. Explain one other factor that is likely to influence Jasmina's choice of promotional method. And this is 2 points. So hopefully you're all familiar with the rainbow buckets for extended writing, where we're looking at advantages, disadvantages, and we write them together with high value connectives and competing points in the conclusion. This question though is asking for explain the impact, explain the restrictions on promotional decisions. So we're going to use just the disadvantages, the high values and the conclusions. So toodaloo to the green advantages bucket. So the question says things that are going to influence Jasmina's choice for her promotional campaign outside of cost. Well, here's a sample so far of some of the things we can expect Jasmina to consider. Well, this time I've done it the other way around. I'm looking at the conclusion, or rather the consequences of these actions. So let's look at each of these piece by piece. The size of the enterprise is actually a consideration, because if it's a small company, then perhaps that's going to actually give an indication to how much expertise there is in marketing in order to deal with the campaign effectively. So the size of the company can actually restrict how well they can execute the campaign. So there you can see the factors and the consequence are directly linked together, and it will be your job to actually put them into a coherent, connected sentence. Next, we'll look at the suitability of the promotion, and we can look at the implications of that, because sometimes a huge press campaign, a huge national press, or maybe even just a local press campaign, as in advertising, is not going to be appropriate. Maybe things like a bog off, a buy one get one free, a sales promotion is the right thing to do in terms of that particular promotion. So it's making sure you make the right selection in your promotional mix depending on what it is you want to achieve, what the product is as well. And a final one to consider would be who the target market actually are. Now remember, the question talks about Jasmina wants to aim for business customers. So how do B2B customers react? How do B2C customers? B2B is when she's going for the business customers. B2C is when she's looking at she's the business and we're the customers, we're the regular people. So the consequences, the reaction, the restriction of this consideration is when you're trying to do a promotional activity for B2B customers, they have a different and much longer time process and much longer decision-making process in order to buy into the product than, say, we would as a member of the general public. So there we have the factors and then the consequences, the conclusion of each of the factors that Jasmina would need to consider. Your job is to link them together. Your job is to take the yellow bucket contents and put them into that coherent sentence with the conclusions from the silver bucket, with the consequences from there. Now comes the middle, the connectives, the high value connectives. Now I'm not suggesting that these are the ultimate ones to use, this is just a sample of them to use. So your job now is to actually glue the 2 bucket contents together to actually show that it becomes a fluid sentence, and you can link cohesively, and where it makes sense, link the sentences together. And here's a clean copy of the question again for you to focus and for you to write your response.